These are some assertion and reason questions based on previous year's question papers from grade 10 science. These are some chemistry questions. Ethane is widely used for cutting and welding of iron and steel. So assertion, that statement is the right statement. And ethane is an unsaturated hydrocarbon involving carbon-carbon triple bond. That statement is also right statement, but reason is not the correct explanation of assertion. We are using ethane for welding purpose because during the combustion of ethane, large amount of energy is liberated. It is highly exothermic. Then, second question, in the reaction sodium sulfate plus barium chloride gives barium sulfate plus sodium chloride. Sodium chloride is precipitated. We know sodium chloride is table salt. It is highly soluble in water. So the assertion statement is a wrong statement. Reason, when an aqueous solution is added to another aqueous solution, an insoluble substance is formed which is called precipitate. That is the right statement. Precipitation reactions are reactions where two or more aqueous solution when you mix, you will get an insoluble substance. So our option is D. MnO2 plus 4HCl gives MnCl2 plus 2H2O plus Cl2 is a redox reaction. Redox reactions are reactions in which oxidation and reduction takes place together or simultaneously. Here HCl lost hydrogen, so HCl is oxidized to chlorine. So we can see HCl lost hydrogen, loss of hydrogen is oxidation. At the same time, we know the oxidation state of chlorine in HCl is -1 and chlorine in the elemental form, its oxidation state is 0. So -1 to 0, that is oxidation. Then in MnO2, oxygen we know its valency or oxidation state of oxygen is -2. So 2 oxygen -4, then 1 manganese, it is +4 because manganese dioxide is a neutral compound. In MnCl2, we know the charge of chlorine is -1, 2 chlorine -2, so manganese is in +2 oxidation state. Here we can see the manganese, its oxidation state changed from 4 to 2. So MnO2 undergoes reduction and HCl undergo oxidation. So it is a redox reaction. The statement is right statement. In this reaction, HCl is oxidized to chlorine and MnO2 is reduced to MnCl2. Both are correct. So assertion and reason both are correct, and reason is the correct explanation of assertion. Next question. The color of aqueous copper sulfate turns colorless when a piece of lead is added to this. We know lead is more reactive than copper. So hence displaces copper from its salt solution. As per the reactivity series, we know lead is more reactive than copper, so lead can displace copper. So both assertion and reason, both the statements are correct, and reason is the correct explanation of assertion. So our option is A. Next one, sodium oxide is an amphoteric oxide. We know sodium oxide is a metal oxide and that is highly basic, because sodium oxide, when we dissolve in water, we will get sodium hydroxide. So our option assertion statement is a wrong statement. It's not amphoteric, it's a basic oxide. Metal oxide which react with both acid as well as bases are known as amphoteric oxide. That is correct statement only. So our option is D. Sodium, calcium and magnesium are obtained by the electrolysis of their molten oxides. We know sodium, calcium and magnesium, they are, according to the reactivity series, they are reactive metals. So these metals, they are having more affinity for oxygen than carbon. So we cannot use carbon as a reducing agent. So assertion and reason both are correct statement, and reason is the correct explanation of assertion. So to separate oxygen, usually we are doing electrolytic reduction. Next, reaction of quicklime, that is calcium oxide with water, is an exothermic reaction. It is a vigorous reaction with a large amount of heat is liberated. So the assertion statement is a right statement. Quicklime reacts vigorously with water, releasing large amount of heat. So both assertion and reason are correct, and reason is the correct explanation of assertion. Next question. In the following reaction, zinc oxide plus carbon gives zinc plus carbon monoxide. Zinc oxide undergo reduction. From zinc oxide, oxygen is removed, so zinc oxide is undergoing reduction. That is the right statement. And here, carbon is used as the reducing agent. So carbon is used as a reducing agent. That's also correct, because in the activity series when we check, carbon is more reactive than zinc. So carbon can displace oxygen from zinc oxide. So both assertion and reason both are correct, and reason is the correct explanation of assertion. It is advised that while diluting an acid, one should add water to acid. So that is wrong, and not acid to water. We know whenever you dilute acid, acid should be added to water, because the dissolution process is highly exothermic. So to avoid the splash of acid, we have to always add acid to water. So the statement is wrong statement. The process of dissolving an acid into water is highly exothermic. That's correct statement. So our option is D. Melting point and boiling point of ethanol are lower than that of sodium chloride. We know ethanol is a covalent compound. Covalent compounds are having low melting point and boiling point compared to ionic compound. Sodium chloride is an ionic compound. It has high melting point because of the strong force of attraction between the particles. So the force of attraction between the molecules of ionic compounds are very strong. So assertion and reason both are correct, and reason is the correct explanation of assertion. Hydrogen gas is not evolved when a metal reacts with nitric acid. That's a correct statement, because we know nitric acid is a very strong oxidizing agent, and hydrogen gas is not evolved when a metal is treated with nitric acid. Only the exceptional cases are manganese and magnesium. Nitric acid is a strong oxidizing agent. It oxidizes hydrogen formed to water, and nitric acid gets reduced to one of the oxide. So that is also right statement. So assertion and reason both are correct, and reason is the correct explanation of assertion. So our option is A. Then different metals have different reactivities with the water and dilute acids. We know according to the reactivity series, some metals react vigorously with the water, but some metals do not react with water at all. So when we extract a metal, we should know the activity of the metal. It is based on the reactivity series. And also extraction of a metal from its ore depend upon its position in the reactivity series. So both assertion and reason are correct, and reason is the correct statement of assertion. A piece of zinc metal gets reddish brown coating when kept in copper sulfate solution. That's correct statement, because zinc is more reactive than copper. Because of that, zinc displaces copper from copper sulfate. So we will get zinc sulfate plus copper. Because of that, we can see the deposit on the surface of zinc. Then reason, copper is more reactive than zinc. That's wrong. Zinc is more reactive than copper. So our option is C. The extraction of metal from their sulfide ores cannot take place without roasting of the ore. That's correct statement. Whenever we get a sulfide ore, first we should convert into its oxide form. For example, if it is zinc sulfide, when we do roasting, it is converted to zinc oxide and sulfur dioxide. So first we should convert into oxide form. Then this oxide form only converted to the metal. We will, we will not get direct metal. Here, reason, roasting converts sulfide ore directly into metal. That's wrong. It will not convert directly into metal. It will convert directly into oxides only. So our option is C. Silver oxide is an amphoteric oxide. Silver oxide is not an amphoteric oxide. Its metal oxides are basic. Only you have to learn like amphoteric oxide, zinc oxide, aluminum oxide, and even lead oxide is amphoteric oxide. Metal oxide which react with both acids as well as bases are called amphoteric oxide. That statement is right. So our option is C. Some vegetable oils are healthy. So that's correct statement. And vegetable oils generally have long unsaturated carbon chain. That statement is also correct. But we know vegetable oils are healthy not only because of this unsaturated chain, because of the fat content, all reasons we have to consider. So we cannot say reason is the correct explanation of assertion. So we can go with the option B. In electrolysis of water, the volume of hydrogen liberated is twice the volume of oxygen formed. That's correct statement because in water, hydrogen and oxygen are in the ratio 2:1. Water has hydrogen and oxygen in the ratio 1:2. That's wrong. It is 2:1. So our option is C. Iron particles get coated with a reddish brown powder when left in the open. Yes, iron if we expose to the atmosphere due to the content of moist air, it will get corroded or rusted. So reddish brown flaky substance is formed on its surface. So the statement is correct. Iron is attacked by substances around it such as moisture, acid, etc. That's also right. So assertion and reason both are correct and reason is the correct explanation of assertion. Then, when zinc metals react with HCl, the solution becomes hot. We know the reaction of zinc with HCl is an exothermic reaction. Because of this, the solution will become hot. So this statement is correct statement. Reaction with the zinc and HCl is exothermic. So assertion and reason both are correct and reason is the correct explanation of assertion. So our option is A. Then carbon makes strong covalent bonds with the other atoms. Yes. Due to the small size of carbon, carbon can make strong covalent bonding by sharing its 4 valence electron with the other atoms. So it is due to the small size of carbon. That's right. So our option is A.